Now that you have a clear understanding of your current situation, let's work out how much mortgage you can afford to put towards a home purchase. We're going to be using Wealthsimple and Ratehub to help us answer this question. You'll find the link to Wealthsimple's article at the top of this slide. It's a great read to get you thinking about your overall financial picture before jumping into your affordability calculations and mapping out your financial future. We're going to be looking more closely at the 20% down payment recommendation from the article in future slides, as we chose to go ahead with just over 10% down payment for Michael and Michelle. Plenty of Torontonians are doing the same. However, this article points out some of the key benefits you could enjoy when putting down at least 20%. And if you're buying a home for over $1 million, you do not have an option. You need to put at least 20% down. I followed the article's recommendation in setting a 20% saving goal for Michael and Michelle. However, it could be that you and your financial advisor can work out a way for you to reach your goals while saving somewhere between 10 to 20% of your income on an annual basis. Like the article mentions, the key point is to start as soon as possible and let compounding interest do the work for you. The key point of the article and this presentation is to ensure whatever you do spend on a home will still allow you to reach your other financial goals, like saving for holidays, children's education, vacation homes, and retirement. Now we get to jump onto one of my personal favorite websites in Canada. We'll be using Ratehub's mortgage affordability calculator here, but if you have some free time, there's plenty to learn on the Ratehub website in their various education centres, and you'll likely find some ways to save or make a few bucks as well. Here you enter your annual income for both yourself and your partner, as well as any monthly debt payments that you may have. Michael and Michelle were debt-free, so we didn't take this into consideration. You can also enter some estimates for property taxes, condo fees and heating costs, or let Ratehub calculate it for you, like I did. Once you're ready, let's click the green button and find out how much you can afford. Ratehub will automatically calculate the max affordability column, showing you the amount you could spend if you have 20% down payment. In order to build your own affordability calculation, you'll need to enter a down payment amount based upon the funds you have available. You may remember that I used Michael and Michelle's TFSA and RSP balances for their down payment, as I knew there were no immediate taxation implications when drawing down from either account, so the full amount was available for them to use. You can now select your mortgage amortization period or how long you'd like to take to pay off your mortgage. And you can select a rate. We chose 25 years for Michael and Michelle as it was the longest amortization period available to them with less than 20% down payment. And the mortgage rate of 2.39% was one of the best that was available at the time I performed the calculations. At this point, you have an option to click the green button to lock in your rate. However, this won't be necessary for us to proceed through this presentation, so you can keep scrolling down. As you scroll down, you can then enter your province and city to calculate your land transfer tax and select the first-time homebuyers tick box if it's applicable for you. Michael and Michelle were first-time homebuyers, so I ticked the box so that Ratehub could take this into consideration and calculate the appropriate rebate amount. As you scroll down the page, you can select the type of home to calculate the upfront and monthly expenditures. For Michael and Michelle, they were looking to raise a family and had adequate affordability to buy a home in Toronto, so I selected house. You can then select the desired mortgage affordability scenario to populate the amounts and get a clear understanding of the required figures for down payment and closing costs. Michael and Michelle had $100,000 to put towards their down payment and an additional $30,000 that they could use to cover closing costs. We budgeted for them to spend $25,000 in additional expenditures, leaving them $5,000 in savings upon closing. As you continue scrolling down the page, you'll see that Ratehub has already calculated property taxes and utilities for you. I expect that property taxes have been calculated based upon the total amount of funds available for your purchase, and while this is prudent, you may find that when you go to purchase a property in Toronto, it may not cost you quite so much in taxes, as the city's property valuations haven't kept pace with the market evaluations in some of Toronto's hotter neighbourhoods. You may You also have the opportunity to enter your own details for property insurance, phone, cable, and internet. The figures I used felt pretty reasonable, and they also allowed me to get a nice round figure of $4,600 in total expenses. Now is a good time to make note of these monthly expenses, as we'll be entering them into ES Planner shortly. Now that we're at the bottom of the page, you'll find that Ratehub will show you your current mortgage amount, what you owe at the end of the term, and how your repayments could look if we revisit the interest rate levels that were prevalent in previous decades. As you can see, money is cheap right now, but it may not stay that way forever.